Hi there, it's Anthony, and I'm about to react to the season finale of The Walking Dead Season 1. This episode is called TS-19. Don't know what that means. It sounds like, something that could be related to what they got going on at the CDC, like a code name or something. Not a code name, but a code word. I don't know. I don't know what TS-19 means, but I'm looking forward to finding out what's going to happen, because in the last episode they just made it to the CDC and they almost weren't going to be let in, but the guy opened up the doors and there was light and they went into the light and we ended with a bit of a sense of hope. So let's see how quickly they snatch that hope away from us with this episode. Looking forward to seeing how they're going to close this season out, since it was a pretty short season, but I'm sure they're going to do something intriguing. So let's go ahead and get into it. The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 6, TS-19.
Please, can you help me?
When is this? Is this present day or is this a flashback? Yeah, it must be a flashback. It must be when things first started. Makes sense that they show us this now, because they never really showed us what all was happening while Rick was asleep before. Yeah. You think Dr. Jenner survived that? I'm really sad that she stayed. But she stayed because she really wanted to stay. Like, she really, I feel like it makes sense that Dale stayed and tried to convince Andrea and T-Dog didn't. Just because you could tell they were coming from two different places. Like, the other lady, I forget her name, she was definitely like, I think she was just ready. She was like, this is how I prefer to die. I don't want to, go out there and, become like Jim, she said, or, become, one of those walkers. Whereas Andrea, I think she was more so just coming from a more just cynical point of like, what's the point? My sister's gone, like, there's no hope left for us, da 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 da. And although those sound like similar points of view on the surface, I feel like it's kind of different. It's just kind of one of those, it felt more like a mood she was in rather than a real state of resolve that she had reached. So I'm glad she got out. The other lady, I'm really sad that she died, but I mean, I guess you gotta respect the way people want to die sometimes, and it did feel like she really truly felt that way. Like, I feel like Angie, if she would have seen them break out that window and stayed down there, then that probably would have spurred her to get up. But those two, the other lady and Dr. Jenner, they saw them break out the window and everything. They're like, they got out. Then they were like, you know what, we still don't want to get out. They didn't even try to run. All right, I enjoyed this one. As season finales go, it didn't really end on an overwhelmingly, happy or sad note, like oftentimes season finales do. This one kind of felt just bleak in a way, because on the one hand, they got out, they're going to continue to live, so we're content about that. But at the same time, it's like, think about the world that they're about to live in. So it's not the happiest or saddest ending, because it's a way to look at it on both sides, positively and negatively. But at the end of the day, that's just the feeling of this world. It's like, when the world is this bad, it's just the little victories that you have to focus on, because even in the grand scheme of things, it's always going to feel like there's no point. So at least just focus on this one little victory here, and maybe everything will be all right for the moment. So that's kind of the feeling you get from the end of this. They got out of there, but you know that they're nowhere near home free. They're nowhere near out of the woods, if there's even such thing as out of the woods in this world anymore. And that just makes it overall kind of bleak. But what this episode did show us that these characters that we're here with now, they're in it. They're really in this. They want to live, they want to survive, they want to continue fighting, because they were given that opt out, if you will. They were given that chance to stay and just say, no, I'm done. But they decided that they wanted a chance. At least they wanted a choice. Even if they're going to go out as a walker, as a brain that only has a slight little flicker inside of it with all of the life and everything extinguished out of it, they were like, they want a choice before that happens, or before, rather than just, obliterating into thin air. This also, I feel like, puts viewers in a similar place as the characters in a way. I don't know if this was intentional or if it's just, a bit of a coincidence, but I feel like, this is a shorter season. is like a little bit of a test sample for people to watch to see, okay, do I want to watch The Walking Dead? Do I want to get into this really? Do I want to, you know, jump all the way in and watch all however many seasons of this show is going to end up being by the time they're done with it? So these characters, they decide they want to push on. They decide they want to keep on going. They want to continue to live in this world. Audience members as well. At this point, there is kind of like that chance. Okay, if you don't want in, this is where you get off. This is the stop right here. Because after this, I'm sure stuff is about to just go even crazier and go on the rails. And I'll say, I'm in it now. I don't wanna stay behind and just blow myself up or anything. I want to escape, throw a grenade on the window, jump out, and ride out into the world with the rest of these guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going to be headed next in the upcoming seasons. So this episode also, they started out with Shane at the beginning, showing us the background of him trying to save Rick, which that did end up playing a key part in the episode, because it kind of, in that argument with Shane and Lori, it kind of let us see things from Shane's perspective a bit, to see, okay, he did really think Rick was going to die. He did try to do what he could to get Rick out of there. So we were able to empathize with Shane a little bit there, but then, he starts attacking Lori physically, and then even sexually it was starting to seem. And, it just got really, gross and uncomfortable. And it really just, it put Shane in not a different light, because he was already starting to be a little but it's like, at this point now, Shane is definitely in a different light in the audience's eyes, or at least in my eyes. Like, I'm like, he has a chance for redemption, but right now this guy he's off the reservation. And I mean, I guess that's what this type of world will do to you, but he's got to calm down. I get that he was drunk there, but still, that all just came from a place that he's really feeling inside. So I wonder when this is going to end up, boiling over, because eventually it is. Rick and Shane, something's going to happen between them. Like, especially if Rick finds out about what Shane did to Lori, and if he finds out about what they had going on while he was dead that Lori didn't tell him about. Because I feel like he might not even be mad they had that going on. He might be more mad that they didn't tell him. You know what I mean? But he still might also be mad that that it happened at all. But yeah, I think that's headed somewhere, and I'm looking forward to it. So Rick and Shane, man, I'm gonna be on the lookout for those two, because right now their relationship is not headed in a good direction. Dr. Jenner, I thought that he was a good character. You could tell even when everybody else was really happy, something was still bothering him, and he never let himself completely loosen up and just enjoy a thing. He's somebody that he didn't want a small victory anymore. He was, I guess, consumed in the overarching issue of, the world is pretty much over. And I guess it's not really a small victory for him, but I mean, maybe, it's company, it's other people around and whatnot. But he also knew something that they didn't, because he knew that the generator was about to go out. And he probably had that planned for a while, that he was just going to kill himself at that point. So Dr. Jenner didn't really want a small victory in any kind of way, and he was kind of just ready to go out. But what he went wrong with was that he was trying to pull other people with him. And, he started to get to the point where the world has done all this to him, and he didn't have a choice in it. Now they're in his world, and he's trying to inflict that on other people. And, like, he might have been trying to, in a way, take the way that he felt about the world and get some type of catharsis or better feeling for himself by forcing other people to be in the same situation as him, because he felt stuck and trapped and like he had no other choice. So that's what he was trying to project onto them and to push onto them and force them into. But luckily, Rick was able to convince him into giving them a choice, and he ended up dying. The test subject 19 thing being his wife, that was pretty sad. I feel like you could tell from the start, like, oh yeah, this is somebody that's important to him. Like, this isn't just a random person. Like, and then when you think about the fact that he had to shoot her in the head and everything, like, that definitely had to weigh a lot on him. And you can understand where he was coming from, but I'm glad that in the end he decided to let them out. And he still knew what he wanted his own fate to be. So, R.I.P. Dr. Jenner. It was nice to see the characters happy for a bit in this episode because, like I said before, I do appreciate it every now and then when you get to just have some light moments just to balance out from the despair and the dreariness of everything else. So it was nice seeing them happy for a bit, even though that means everything's about to turn to crap eventually. But at least they got a little bit of happiness. They got some hot water. They got to play checkers and stuff. They got to sleep in real beds. So I was happy for them to see that. And I hope that they get some more moments like that throughout the series. I mean, this seemed like a really cool setup at the CDC. Too cool. Like, it's like, that's not going to last. They're not about to just start living there for the rest of the series. Like, things would be too easy. So, of course, they're just going to blow the whole building up on us. Thank you, Walking Dead writers. You're never going to let us or the characters just be happy for once, huh? I'm just playing. So, yeah, man, I thought that this was a really good way to close out the season. Like I said, it kind of felt like it put us in the character's shoes and made us and kind of let viewers decide if they want to be in this for the long haul too. Like I said, I do. I'm just looking forward to seeing what other small victories they're going to get and maybe how this world is going to grow. Can't wait to see what's going to happen in season 2. I don't really have any predictions or anything. I mean, I think, obviously Rick and Shane are going to have something go on between them. I think more people are going to die, but that's obvious. They've been killing so many people. So overall, I thought this was a good season. It was I don't want to say inconsistent because it wasn't inconsistent. I think there just were some episodes that just had they just had stretches where maybe it wasn't as high of a caliber as others. Like I think episodes 3 and 4 were a little, shaky in the middle, maybe, if I remember correctly. I don't know. But for the most part, I felt like this was a pretty good season to start out with. And I feel like, and I'm interested to see moving forward how much they ramp things up, and if they, once they really work things out and kind of, get what is it called? They, how they say people got to get their footing. A lot of shows got to get their footing. I feel like Walking Dead, for the most part, is in their footing. Although I don't know what's to come, it might be way, way better. And this season is nothing compared to it. But for the most part, it looks like they already kind of have their footing. But I imagine as time goes on, they're going to really iron things out and really just have it, top notch. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it's headed. But it's already been really good. Don't get me wrong. All right, well, that'll do it for this one. I really enjoyed the season, enjoyed the episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we're headed next. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode and the season. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And head on over to Patreon if you're watching this on YouTube, because Patreon has the full uncut reactions and they're coming out way ahead of the YouTube schedule. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Until next time, have a good one, everybody.